Hi. So, a lot of people have been telling me that I need to go ahead and take this to the next step. So, here's my next step. I have a lot of different experiences in my life that help me be able to do what I love. I love being able to help people and get them to that next step. So, this video is about a spiritual, you can call it awakening, you can call it the evolution, you can call it whatever you want. And it's not about any specific religion. It's just pretty much where we're headed and where we need to get straight. I have seen so many videos, so many different articles, and so many different things on how to ascend, and I'm going to tell you something. Majority of it is a load of crud. Okay? People talk about this beautiful, colorful, oh my gosh, look at that. And you're like, oh, that'd be so awesome. Why can't I get there? And you're like, I can't, I'm not even close. And you try and you try and you try and you're like, I'm not getting anywhere. Are you getting anywhere? Or are you? And you talk to people and you're like, this just isn't working. Shocker of the year. Guess what? Because they're not telling you. They're telling you the sugar-coated way, okay? The fact is that it's a lot grittier and it's a lot more, there's a lot of work involved, but most of us are willing to put that work in. That's the surprising part. A lot of us have tried and tried and tried and tried again, and you're just like, I am not seeing any type of results at all. I mean, like, I'm seeing, here, there, and there, but really I'm not getting what I want out of it. Why? I'm going to tell you why. Because maybe your experience not only is unique, we all get that. Ooh, it's so unique. It is. But the things and the challenges that you have to face, even though they're unique, that's the key thing. We have to face these things. We have to go beyond ourselves sometimes and our understanding of certain things. And we expect a certain experience because we've been told that it's this whole shiny, shimmery, freaking hoo-ah of a deal. And then we don't realize that sometimes it's not shimmering with glitter or the piñatas of the year, okay? Sometimes it is literally where we are expecting something so hard that we miss what's actually going on. And we need to stop ourselves to realize and accept what really is going on, because sometimes that's even better. But we're missing it because we're so hyped up on this whole freaking experience that we miss it. And people are going to tell you that you're not experiencing it right, and that you're trying too hard, or you're not trying hard enough. And you just feel like there's nothing in the world that you could do to make it where you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing. Here's the whole thing, okay? The one biggest mistake that I made, and the biggest mistake that stopped me from experiencing a lot of things, is I was listening to a bunch of people that told me the limelight of it, not the gritty part of it. And everyone said, I'm sorry, I'm an Aquarius. I'm an overthinker. Hardcore. I think with my mind. I'm going a million miles per hour, and sometimes I don't even realize that I'm thinking that hard. I will overthink something until it's been beaten a couple times. Let's be real. But the fact is that I had a bunch of people saying that you're overthinking it, you're just, it'll come, blah, blah. You know what? Here's the whole thing. It wasn't until I checked out what everyone else said that it should be like, and I started to really just experience what was actually happening in that moment. And sometimes I couldn't rationally put my mind around it. I'm like, this doesn't feel like anything at all. Really? You're breaking down those barriers for you to be able to go ahead and experience different things and to actually tap into your whole person. A lot of people talk about shadow work. It's amazing. It's great. Some people have different views on it. I'm not going to get stuck into it. I did what my version of it was, which was where I faced a lot of things that I ran from for a long time, or things that I forgot were there. And once I did that and I started working on me, because I was going through a lot. I went through a divorce. I went through moving out and becoming a single mom. And that was different for me. People say that divorce is common, and it is, people. But I'm going to tell you, I never experienced it myself, and it was a trip. That itself was a trip. I was like, oh my God, people act like it's so easy. This was not an easy trip. It was not an easy journey. I dealt with a lot of different things. People said all kinds of crazy things, and I was like, but I didn't do that. I had to realize, and someone kept telling me this, and I will never forget this. They told me that I needed to stop worrying what people said. They'd see the truth eventually. They may not ever admit to it, though. Years, they finally, people came to me. They're like, oh my gosh, you're never going to believe. And I'm like, listen to them. And I'm like, hey, you're not telling me anything I don't know. I was sitting here saying this years ago when you didn't want to believe me, because they weren't ready to. And that's kind of how this path is. Sometimes we're not ready for the information we so want to be. Here's the whole thing. You have to start somewhere. And wherever you start, some people are going to excel and do it quickly. That was not my journey. It wasn't. Mine was slow and agonizing. It was agonizing for me. It was absolutely agonizing. And maybe it's because I overthought things way too much. But at the same token, that's what helped me. It helps me understand certain things the way that I needed to understand them. It's not the way everyone else needed to understand it. And it wasn't for them. It was for me. It was to understand my truth. And to understand your truth, you have to start with you. And start experiencing things for you. Understand that it's not for some people, they get it. It's there. I was not one of them. And I don't think a lot of people that truly wholeheartedly experience and tap in are always instantaneous. I think sometimes it's a little bit more grittier and a lot more complicated than that. And for our truths to come out, we have to be receptive. And at different times when life just throws us these different things, we're not going to be receptive to this stuff. Because let's be real. Being receptive means that we have to be open. And when you have life and challenges and those curveballs, let's be real, they exist. They do. And people want to be like, it's great, everything's awesome. You know what? Here's the thing. Life's never that great, okay? Life is never, ever like that. There's always something. Whether it's this small or this big, I don't care. There's always going to be some kind of curveball, and we have to learn where to navigate that and put that and be able to build from those points. Because sometimes we have everything that we need. We just don't even realize what we have. And you have to go through the journey to find out what you already have sometimes. So don't give up. Don't buy into anyone else's truth. Find yours. Find yours. Because that's something no one can take. That's something that no one can touch. And no one can tell you that you're doing it wrong. Because guess what, baby? You're not. Because it's not their walk. It's yours. And sometimes you're going to go ahead and be you. And you know what? That's what makes it that much more pretty. And that much more authentic. And where you're going to get more out of it. Because it's for you and you alone. I hope that you take that and you run with it, because a lot of people have a lot to say. And we all be lying. Even if we don't care, part of us does, and rightfully so. But we have to find out our truth, not the next person's truth, not Bob's truth, or, Jill over here. You have to find yours. You have to find yours. And sometimes that requires us doing a little bit of going on in a little deep there, and you're like, yeah, I'm ready. At one point, I said I was ready. I didn't understand what that meant. And you know what? I had a lot of people tell me what being ready, or where the information would just flow and you'd get it and da-da-da-da. And when you were ready. Okay, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to be real with you. If I waited till I was ready on a lot of things, the world would never move. But I figured it out, and I figured out my truth for me, not for anyone else. And if it's not good for anyone else, not sorry. And that's another thing that you have to learn, to not be sorry for doing you. Because guess what? No one else has to live in that shoe. You do. Own it, love it, and run with it.